NASCAR 25 just received an update last night, and it's a big one. They finally added new pit options in the race for tire pressure and wedge, but they also adjusted driver ratings with data from Racing Insights. So we're taking a look right off the bat at some of the driver ratings. We'll spend a little bit of time checking out the Cup Series overalls and specifics. I will show a brief bit of Xfinity, Truck, and ARCA, but just skimming through those as well. But obviously the big update is the pit adjustments. We're going to be testing those out from the extreme of both ends to see how it actually affects the car in this video and see if it's an update worth your while. Now, as you can see, the overalls here now, I feel like Shane Van Gisbergen took a leap forward here in the ratings, which I would expect. If I was to choose any driver that would kind of take a leap, it would probably be him, because his oval racing has gotten quite significantly better. Denny Hamlin's still at the top in speedways, but you can see here the numbers overall for everybody. But Shane Van Gisbergen, noticeably, he kind of moved up in the, not necessarily speedways there, he's in 30th, but on like the intermediates and stuff, he seemed to have moved up a little bit. But I'm curious, I've been kind of interested in the rating system in this game, because I feel like the ratings, how they do it, it's really cool, but I feel like it hurts the overall racing, because we always seem to have the same drivers up front, because they're locked to a number, they're not to a range, right? When you have the AI locked to a specific number rating, well, they're going to perform to that exact rating, and therefore it's going to be hard for them to do any better or any worse than that. When we have like other NASCAR games where it's kind of more of a rating between, say, they have like a 90 rating, but they're going to perform anywhere between, say, an 85 to a 95 or whatever it could be range in that specific race, it creates a lot of variation, and I feel like that's something this game could benefit greatly off of. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. However, you saw there Shane Van Gisbergen absolutely dominates in the road course rating. But yeah, like I said, just going to skim through Xfinity, Trucks, and ARCA real quick. There's Zilish at the top with Allgaier, as you can stop and pause if you want to see the ratings now. But yeah, now on to the Truck Series, and you see it's still Heim with 100 overall. Lane Riggs is at 93. That's the next full-time truck driver. There's a huge difference there between him and the rest of the field in the overall ratings. ARCA, Butterbean, and Sawallick there, of course, up at the top still. But now, let's get to the good stuff here. It's going to be time to test out these pit adjustments here in NASCAR 25. That is finally here. We're going to test it with Xfinity at Homestead Miami Speedway. We're racing as a number 88 Blue Hog Camaro for Junior Motorsports of Connor Zilish. I'm running on the neutral preset setup, so we're going to just have a baseline to start off of, and then we're going to bring out a few cautions, and we're going to, of course, go to the extreme. Fully loose, fully tight, and then I'm going to kind of meet in the middle and kind of do something that I prefer and see how the car drives. So when you're on just the neutral setup, I mean, it drives, you know, kind of in between. It's a little bit tight. It's also, you can kind of kick out the back end ever so slightly with these cars, so it's kind of a happy middle ground like it's supposed to be, of course. And but you can see, just watch the rear end, that's important. You can see it can slide out just a little bit, but for the most part it's quite planted, and that's the important part to watch. Is we're going to be able to see when we make these pit adjustment changes just how much it actually affects the rear end of the car, specifically when we go on the loose side. Of course, when we go on the tight side, the rear end, we're not really paying attention to that. You're watching the front end slide up, but overall, yeah, very, very planted, and I just wanted to get an idea of the baseline, and then we're going to actually, unfortunately, I'm going to take out Kyle Sieg here to get my caution so we can make the adjustments now. So we take out that 28, he gets in a violent crash, and now the caution, hopefully, there it is. Caution does come out, here it comes. So in the car status on the left, once you bring your pit options up, there you go. You can adjust wedge and tire pressure. Now, if you take only 2 tires, you actually can only adjust the tires pressures that you're changing on the tires that you're changing. So, but we are going to go maximum wedge to the left, of course, which is loosening up your car. So there's a range. The middle ground is 50. You can go to 55 to tighten it. You can go down to 45 for the loose presets. So we as well can go to 55 psi as the max and down to what it was 13 psi at the minimum. We're gonna jump all the way up here to 55. So we basically just made this car as loose as it could really be right off the bat, and as we get back underway, immediately, even down a straightaway, I could feel the difference in the, of course, actual adjustments. And as we head down into turn 1, just watch. I mean, we're gonna, yeah, I mean, I completely lose traction and slide the car, and we'll save it, but yeah, very evident right off the bat. Certainly, these adjustments definitely work as intended. I was very curious to see how much of an effect these pitting adjustments would have, and I would say it's pretty significant on the loose side. Now into turn 3, I'm going to just completely lose it once I get on the throttle. Hold on, there it is, and barely hitting the gas. And yeah, I mean, obviously I would never recommend going on the full loose preset because, well, yeah, you see what happens. I've crashed myself. So we'll get another caution. Now we'll try the other extreme, and that is as tight as possible. So instead of running 45, we're going to go all the way to 55. Now the tire pressures, I'm going to go the other way. So instead of a high pressure, we're going to go on a low pressure. I feel like the pressures aren't going to affect things too much, of course, but a lower pressure kind of like takes the car a little bit longer to kind of kick in. But as we would head into the restart on the tightest, of course, adjustments, I was actually a bit surprised by this one, and in a way of, it was significantly less tighter than I was expecting. When I saw how extreme it can be with going as loose as possible, I thought I was going to go into the corner and plow, but honestly, on the tightest preset, it didn't feel a whole lot different than the neutral preset setup that we have to start with. So yeah, definitely surprised me a little bit, because yeah, as we go down into the corners, we really don't have to pedal the throttle as much as I was expecting. The front nose, it doesn't just plow like I would expect on 55 wedge. So definitely you can get away with going as tight as possible, at least in this combo right here with the Xfinity and Homestead Miami. Of course, it could differ from track to track, but in this specific one, yeah, really, honestly, it was fine. I did have to maybe back out of the throttle mid-corner a little bit more than I had to on, say, just running the neutral baseline setup, but that was pretty well the only difference I felt. Other than that, the rear end was completely planted. So I get another caution. I swear I don't hate the 28. That was just coincidence. We're going to come in, and now we're going to make final adjustments kind of to what I prefer in a car, and that means we're going to go back down to 50 on the wedge, which is neutral, and then I'm going to adjust it a little bit more and go down to about a 48.5, loosen up the car a little bit, bring up the tire pressures back up to around normal, and I personally like a car that's on the freer side. However, as I am only doing a handful of laps here, it's interesting because as the tires fall off in this game, your car really does free up at times, so you're going to have to be careful if you want to run a looser preset setup, or not preset, but make adjustments that are going to loosen up your car. Certainly there's some tracks where you want to run looser adjustments, but definitely Miami, I feel like I can get away with it early on. You can see how much easier the car is hooking up on the corner. I can kind of go everywhere. You see the rear end kind of kicking out just a little bit, but nothing extreme. But you can definitely get away with these adjustments early in a run, but probably after 10 to 15 laps you might start to struggle a little bit here. But overall, definitely a awesome welcomed update here. Driver ratings, I don't really care about those, but I did want you guys to be able to see those. But the pit adjustments, fantastic. I think this is going to play a big role in my career mode videos coming up. I've still got like 3 more career mode videos I've already recorded before this update. But beyond that, yeah, I'm very happy and excited to be able to have some tracks where I feel like I'm a little bit too tight, and now I can make a wedge adjustment and get my car freed up and hopefully run a little bit better, or vice versa. Sometimes on the neutral setup, which I always run, I feel like I'm too loose and I want to go back the other direction. Let me know your thoughts down below on the update. That does it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.